Hi, I'm Dan Weedin. Welcome to Weedin Unleashed. Today is July 20th, and I'm glad to be back with you. In fact, let me adjust that very quickly there. The British Open just ended, and I've been kind of watching that as I've worked all morning. And it ended with about 3 minutes to spare, or else the DVR would have had to have been on. And so welcome to Weedin Unleashed. This has been just about an every Monday type session, unless I'm traveling, which it seems like lately I've been doing a lot of. I will be here with you this week, obviously, and I'm hoping next week. I'm not traveling, but I've been scheduled for jury duty, so I'll be calling in on Sunday night next week. I'm going to go ahead and get it set up, but we'll send out if I'm called into jury duty. I won't be able to do it. But for today, I am here, and I'm happy to be here. Our topic at these Weedin Unleashed episodes is most generally, and I think almost always, the topic of my extra points. And the one that went out this morning was about puzzles. And I'll get to that in just a second. Just a couple more quick logistical notes. Again, this Weedin Unleashed is planned to go out every Monday at noon Pacific time. It is recorded. You can find it on my website, my YouTube channel, I guess I should say, my YouTube channel website at www.danweedin.tv. You can also find access on my website at danweedin.com. This is set up to have viewers like you on here live and watching later. I do have questions. If in going through this episode you have questions, you have comments, I encourage you to go ahead and join that conversation. So let's get started. My extra points this morning was about puzzles. Over the weekend, I do a lot of traveling on ferries because of where I live. And over the weekend, my wife Barb and I took a trip out to visit her parents on Saturday. And so in so doing, we took a ferry because that's the easiest route. And a lot of times I will use ferry time to catch up on reading and news and different things. But on weekends, I like to get my steps in. I've got my, as you can see, I've got my Fitbit on, and I was in competition with people for a weekend warrior type thing, and so I needed to get my steps in. And I've always calculated that a half an hour ferry trip's about 2,500 steps, and so I needed to get that in. Well, the first lap around, I noticed something that is not unusual. This ferry had a puzzle out. It was a 1,000-piece puzzle. It was doors. I remember taking a quick peek at it. Just a number of doors in this puzzle, and it had been worked on. It was probably about a third of the way through. And these puzzles are put out for ferry travelers to all collaborate on, to work on, because the ferry is not going to be long enough for anybody to finish a 1,000-piece puzzle. I guess at some point it gets finished, but in most cases it's there for the entertainment value. But as I made the second turn, I noticed a gentleman, by the time I'd come back, which wasn't very long, had sat down and was starting to work on the puzzle. And my thoughts were this as I continued my walk. What a cool deal for people of diverse ages, diverse genders, diverse cultures, diverse reasons for being on a ferry, to come together with one common goal, and that was to finish the puzzle. They didn't know how much each would contribute. Maybe for some people it would just be a couple pieces. Maybe for others it would be quite a bit. But the goal, the common goal, was to solve the problem, solve the puzzle, and finish it and complete it at some point in time. And for those who travel on a regular basis, maybe they would get many opportunities, and they would have part of the joy of seeing the completed product and starting a new one. I just was wondering, how cool would that be in your business? You know, I don't have any employees other than Captain Jack, who's snoozing here behind me. But for many of you, you're entrepreneurs, you're business owners, and you have employees that are working for you. And one of the topics that comes up a lot when I'm working with business owners is that team dynamics need to be improved. That there's a culture of where agendas are set, and maybe there's drama and conflict, and people don't work well together. And it's usually, in my experience, something to do with an agenda. Somebody has a goal of their own. There is a level of what's in it for me than it is for what's in it for the team. You know, in my new book, Unleashed Leadership, one of the chapters is all about playing together, as a team, playing for the other guy or the other gal, removing selfishness. And so when you're looking at the puzzle on the ferry, there's no ego, there's no selfishness, there's not anybody who has an agenda. Everybody has the same common goal, to finish the puzzle, and they have a hand in it. They have a piece. They're playing a part in that, and that's good enough. They're playing for everybody else. That doesn't happen all the time when it comes to projects or initiatives in your business, but it can, and there's no reason why it shouldn't. It comes as part of your responsibility. If you're the business owner, if you're the entrepreneur, if you're the CEO, if you're the executive, or even a manager or a supervisor in charge of people, you're setting the culture. You're setting the expectations, and you are managing that team dynamics. You have more on this than you might think. And in fact, it's those leaders, let's just call all of those people I just mentioned, those leaders who foster a culture of unselfishness, who foster a culture of playing for the other person. They're the ones that are able to get problem solvers, to get the puzzle completers all working in lockstep together for the betterment of the company. One goal. Just talked about the one goal that is out there for the puzzle makers. You should have the one goal on the project, on the initiative, on the mission, on whatever is going on in your business. And so that's up to the leader, the unleashed leader. You can read a lot more about that in my book. It's due out in September. I'm finishing up the edits. But if you go to danweedin.com, you can pre-order, and that's kind of a cool thing. And I'll be able to sign it directly for you. But think about that as you go through your day. What can you do this week? What's important in your world that you can work on to improve how your teams work together? What is it that you can do to foster that? Is it improved communications? Is it enhanced visioning? Is it clearing up uncertainty? All of those things lead to lack of vision. Perhaps you have the wrong people on the job because they have the wrong skill sets, or maybe you've noticed that they have different agendas. You have to be able to manage that as a leader. And so in doing so, you create that one mission, that one goal, that everybody plays a part, everybody has a hand, everybody's collaborating collectively as a team to reach a better end for the company, the organization, and everybody involved. So that's our topic today. I don't see that I at least have anybody viewing today. Oftentimes that happens. Oftentimes we have several people. Sometimes we only have people who are able to listen. But at any rate, you're watching this now. If you are watching it and I don't happen to see you, this is a great opportunity to ask questions or make comments. You can do that now. I invite you to and encourage you. If you're watching this at a later time, feel free to email me your comments and your questions at dan@danweedin.com. I'd be happy to hear what you have to say about that. I also post this on my social media sites, so if you want to comment there, again, I encourage that. So with that, I'm going to see if there's anybody out there. That's what happens when you do a little live television. We'll see if there's anybody out there, but that's the topic for today. It's, how do you solve puzzles? How do you get everybody to be able to more rapidly, more effectively, more productively, and for the betterment of everybody, solve the puzzles, the big decisions that need to be made in your company as a leader of your company? That's on you. That's your responsibility. It requires great communication skills. It requires patience. It requires observation, and it requires courage, because a lot of times you'll have to deal with conflict yourself. Who wants to put that last puzzle piece in, or who wants to put the first one in? So you have to be able to communicate well, and that's what your goal is. So I don't see anybody putting anything in. So that might mean we don't have anybody out there, and I won't keep you any longer. I will plan on being back next week unless I have jury duty. I thank you for taking the time to watch this here today. I hope you've taken something from it, and I hope that as you go through this week, this month, and this year, and in your career, you'll continue to be able to build dynamic teams that can solve the most pressing puzzles that your business has. Thanks, and I will see you again next week.